Welcome to the Dr. Mary Travelbest Guide podcast. And I'm going to talk today about Thessaloniki, Greece. This is part 1. Here first, though, is an FAQ on plane travel. If you could take a plane or a train, which would you take? And why? And here's my answer. If I have the choice between a plane and a train, most of the time, I choose the train. Now, let's be practical. If the distance is extreme, say cross-country or intercontinental, the plane wins on efficiency. At this stage of life, I value my energy. 6 hours in the air, maybe 20 hours of transfers. But when both are realistic options, I'll pick the train, and here's why. First, the train allows me to arrive gently. There's no stripping down at security, no liquid anxiety, no rushing to a distant gate. I walk onto the train. I keep my water. I keep my dignity. That matters. Second, the scenery. I understand that the journey is not separate from the destination. On a train, I see villages, farmland, people waiting on platforms, laundry on balconies. I watch life unfold. A plane lets me see clouds. Third, ease of movement. I can stand up. I can walk. I can stretch. I can visit the cafe card. I can talk to someone if I choose or not. And that flexibility feels empowering. Fourth, my arrival point. Trains typically drop you in the center of town. Planes usually drop you 40 minutes away, followed by taxis, shuttles, and more logistics. Simplicity wins. Now, here's where I get a little skeptical of my own bias. If I'm exhausted, if connections are complicated, if safety or night travel becomes a concern, like going from Oslo to Bergen this past summer, we had a 7-hour delay. I was stranded in Voss due to the heated tracks of the summer. That was not so unusual, I found out later. On a side note, I did enjoy my time in Voss, and I learned to slow down. Now, if I anticipate a delay like this, I will absolutely take the plane. Comfort and safety overrides romance. So my answer? If time is short and distance is long, fly. If time is flexible and distance is reasonable, take the train and let the world move past your window. And now, the 60-second challenge. This is for in Greece and on trains. If you like this confidence challenge, you're going to be looking for my book series to dive deeper into train travel while walking through the 5 steps to solo travel. From easy to more challenging, with foreign language communication tips too. Look for the link in the show notes description, or just go on Amazon and find it. And now we're going to get into our destination of Thessaloniki. This is part 1 of 2. So I'm going to take you to Thessaloniki, Greece's second largest city. Greece was always a bucket list trip for me. And now I'm going to tell you why. Because I loved seeing Roman ruins, Byzantine churches, Jewish history, and even modern day contradictions. The Athens Station regional train. It sits across from the metro. And honestly, the outside of the train station felt very neglected. There was graffiti. There was, hot. It was like 95 degrees. And I bought 2 large water bottles, plus my refillable container. Hydrate first, analyze later. The train stations along the way, they felt a little bit desolate. There was no Wi-Fi, few signs of life. And a year ago, I was told there was a tragic train accident in Greece, which is still on people's minds. So you can actually kind of feel that in the quiet. Now, from the train window, what did I experience? Farms, tractors, cows, olives, grapes, hay fields, solar panels on rural homes, mountains hugging Athens in the distance. I was passing by history, including both Olympia and Meteora. But your train, my train, will just keep going. Sometimes step 5 travel was just watching. So then I'm in Thessalonica and I get to my hostel. It was called Zeus is Loose, except that the address I had was wrong. It was actually the building next door. So I went in the wrong building and an elderly woman answered, and she didn't speak any English. An example of this is, okay, be patient, go out and try to find the right address. The hostel was 7 stories tall. It was a view over a very busy place, and the elevator worked really well. Again, a 7-story hostel. That night, I listened to bouzouki music. It was a small Greek string instrument, sad songs, emotional storytelling through melody. Let me tell you a little more about Thessaloniki. It's vertical. It's got rising hills. It's got red roofs, uphill and white below. There were homes that were attached to castle walls. There were churches that were lower than most street level because earthquakes and centuries of sediment have raised the city about 9 meters since the 5th century. One of the things you'll notice in this town is the White Tower. It's a local landmark, 8 stories tall, and it stands right by the sea. From higher viewpoints, you'll see it in context. It's circular, it's strong, it's solitary. It's a good point of reference if you get lost. Agora means marketplace, the public square, politics, theater, drama. In the 5th century, men performed and women were not even allowed on stage. Today, women lead tours. Women travel solo. Women dance. Lots of progress. And here's some of the things I learned by talking to locals. The average salaries here are low and home ownership is difficult. Airbnb pressures long-term housing. And Sunday is for church and family. Most stores are closed. There are 3 soccer teams and they compete fiercely here. One was in a yellow stadium. And the decisions move slowly. Construction moves slowly. Excavations, historically, they slow everything. And also fire remains a danger. Arson and dry heat are concerns. I did some tours. I was the only American in a group of 25 on a 3-hour evening tour. That matters. It changes the conversation. I met 2 Israeli sisters, 69 and 70 years old, who had planned a 1-week trip to Greece, but airplane closures were extended, and so they had been on the road for over a month. What did they do? They adjusted. They hiked. They stayed strong. They were flexible. And they were amazing friends that I met along the way. If you were them, would you have stayed? Ask yourself, do you belong here? Even if you're the only American in the group? Even if you feel wrinkled in the heat? Even if you look tired through your journey? So step 5 travel means you're strong enough to hold both beauty and discomfort. Thessaloniki will not perform for you, but if you slow down and listen, she will teach you. And this has been my plan to help women travel bravely and wisely. So listen to part 2 for more on Thessaloniki. Now for my travel mistakes in Greece. Digestion issues. In Greece, I got diarrhea. I took an over-the-counter pill with lots of water, and I got better soon afterwards. What did I eat? Not much but bread, cheese, ham, juice, chocolate, apple, banana, yogurt. I don't know exactly what made me sick, but here's my advice, is to stay away from what you're not used to and hydrate with clear liquids like electrolyte drinks. Try to keep plenty of water around to flush out the bad and keep the good. I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm just giving you some common sense. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next journey. Please connect with Dr. Travelbest and let me know what you think of this podcast.
What's on your travel bucket list? Tell the doctor and her team of women who travel the world seeking the very best. Dr. Travelbest, that is.